Hey, welcome to News You Can Use. I'm your host, BG, and I have a question for you. Is Ontario doing enough to support families who have children living with autism? Because if you ask many parents across the province, their answer would be straight up, no. Now, before we go any further, I do need you to do a few things like subscribing to this channel, tapping that notification bell, and make sure to follow us on all of our social media. Those details, by the way, are in the description below. So, did you know the cost of getting the necessary support for autism can range in the tens of thousands of dollars? And the reality for too many families is they just can't afford it, and there just isn't enough government support to help these families. It's why one father named Rickey is speaking up and hoping and advocating for help. Let's hear his story. So Rickey, thanks so much for joining us here on News You Can Use. I'm happy you're here because I think you have a story that resonates with a lot of people across this province, across this country. And I think it's going to be informative for a lot of people who don't have to live with the circumstances that you're living with, which is a child living with autism.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about your story?
So my son was diagnosed when he was approximately 3.5 years old.
And your son's name is?
Adriano.
Adriano.
He's 7 now.
Yeah.
And we sort of first saw my wife, what was, other than everything else, it's your typical boy. Loved to play, jump, laugh, eat, sleep. Great. It was just a few little things where we saw some things that were different. He wouldn't answer to his name, wouldn't look at you directly in the eye, not make face contact. And small little words at that time, like, mommy, daddy. And so we had this feeling, and we finally brought him to get diagnosed. And they did. They said, your son is diagnosed with autism. And it was very, very, how can I say, at the time, overwhelming, very emotional.
Is Adriano your only child?
Oh, I have 3 boys.
You have 3 boys.
He's the youngest.
And how are they, the other 2?
Great.
They're great.
They're
so this is
awesome.
the first experience for you.
Yes.
For you
Yes.
both, for you and your wife as parents.
Yes.
And so hearing those words while you're at the doctor's office, what were those feelings? What was that
You
like?
could hear a pin drop,
Yeah.
and it was quiet. And the psychologist was across the table, and we're sitting there, and to see a doctor 40 years, he's welling up. I couldn't believe it. My wife, very, very emotional, and I just cut it and said, okay, I'm gonna start. And I just put it on the table, and I said, does our son have autism? And he says, yes, he does. And so from there, it was a quiet ride home.
What was going through your mind?
Everything. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know what help, where to go. And this is unfortunately the problems that a lot of parents face. The process takes so long. And unfortunately, a lot of information that we did get was incorrect. It's been 4 years, and my son still is waiting for full funding from the Ontario Autism Program.
Wow.
Yeah, to pay for his autism therapy.
So let's get into this, because we know that, this subject has made headlines in mainstream news, legacy media. And I know from personal experience, speaking with parents, that there hasn't been a proper resolution when it comes to it.
Yeah.
So after hearing the news and looking for those supports, did you find any?
Yes. Through different government organizations, wherever, we did receive, obviously, like a one-time funding.
Okay. And what was that amount?
That was $20,000.
Is that enough?
No.
Okay.
No. That lasted, we stretched it as much as we could. Plus, before that, putting our own money. And so once that $20,000 was exhausted, we used that money. Families can qualify for a $5,000 one-time for the year, which is a drop in the hat. Like, it's practically nothing.
So what are the costs associated with providing the services, getting the services to help or service, Adriano, somebody in Adriano's case, for example?
My son, I can use him as an example, is cost for a child to go for full-time autism therapy. It's anywhere between 50 to 60, could be up to $70,000 a year.
What?
Yes. So
that's a full-time salary.
Yes. Yeah, so
If you're lucky to even make that amount.
So I know there are people who do get anywhere between 5,000 to 6,000 based on their needs,
Right.
right? Based on their assessment, how many hours of therapy they require, based on the hours, X amount of dollars equals so much money. Unfortunately, a lot of people that just can't do it, so they rely to send your children to school that they, work with an EA, or they maybe just part-time send their children to autism therapy. What one child might learn or receive information a little bit more quicker, it could take 3, 4, 5 times longer for a child with autism.
Let me ask you this, because I know that there were changes made to the Ontario Autism Program
Yes.
by the current government. Did that benefit you?
The way it is going to benefit people is it's going to be based on a needs,
Right.
which is great. So children who do need more therapy, they will get diagnosed and assessed for X amount of hours, which will be
Covered under the program.
yes, correct, right?
So that would help at least the financial burden for some families.
Yes, sure it will.
Yeah.
Yes, it will. Program falls short, I would say, in the wait times. My son was first diagnosed. They said it was anywhere between an 18 to 24, possibly 36 months.
To get funding.
Yes.
So I know you and a lot of people dealing with this circumstance have tried to reach out to the Premier's office, to Premier Doug Ford's office. You're looking for change.
Yes.
What is that change that you're looking for, and what has the response been?
The response has been, obviously, we've had phone calls
Yeah.
from the office and whatever, and they're working on it. They have families that they've tried this new needs-based program. The results are expected to come out possibly by the new year, and then they will start rolling out everybody who's been on the wait list.
What's been the hardest part of this process, this journey for you,
The
for you and your wife?
the unknown of if our son doesn't get, or I see other children too, if he doesn't get the proper therapy, how's it going to be like when he gets older? Who's going to take care of him? What's going to happen if something happens to myself or my wife? My oldest son is 12. I couldn't begin to imagine to explain to a 12-year-old to say, something's happens to daddy, you have to take care of your younger brother. And this is always in the back of my mind every day. That's one thing that really scares me, I'll tell you, in life. This is very challenging for me to think about every day. So I try to, always trying to do everything now to set yourself up, and you're sacrificing now your life to set yourself up for your son when I'm not here. It is going to happen one day. And are we going to be ready for, for him to take care of himself? Or is he going to be able to take care? I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's extremely difficult.
This is a fear that all parents
Yes.
who have kids living with autism
Yes.
have right now.
Yeah. Not a lot of them will speak about it. No, it's very emotional. It's hard because what do you do? And you try to have a life also. I have 2 other boys. I want to give them just like everybody else does. I want them, to go to school. I want them to, get out there, see the world. I have to concentrate on 3 boys.
Yeah.
I just can't concentrate on one. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do when your house is on fire and you have to rescue somebody? You have to rescue everybody. But deep down inside, it hurts. It's very difficult. Extremely difficult.
Do you think the province has failed the majority of families who have kids living with autism?
They need to work together more. I see somebody always wants to come up and say, okay, we're going to hit this out of the park. And sometimes it doesn't have to be fixed.
Yeah.
It just needs a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of fixing and whatever. And you have to listen to the professionals.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that are suffering. I've known people personally that they've sold their homes and went to go live back with their parents when they found this, because
What else can they do?
What else can you do? What else can you do? You just can't pick up one day and say you're going to sell everything. Then what?
I know this is a passion project for you.
Yes.
It's not even a project. This is like a passion.
Yeah.
A life passion for you. You started an organization.
Yes.
What is that organization and what do you aim to do with that?
Brighter Path for Autism, we raise obviously awareness and funds for children that don't have government funding. And we reach out to children that go to ATT Kids, which is an autism therapy training school in Vaughan. And the reason why I chose that school was because my son goes there, and I tell people, I'm not a therapist. I rely on the school, and they let me know the information, and I ask them who doesn't have government funding, who needs help. And the reason why I started this organization, as difficult as it was for us, somebody reached out to us when my son was going to school. He does these fundraisers, and he donated $1,000 to my son. And that can, extra hours for the month is amazing.
Yeah.
So I said, how can I help? So we started, I do a family fun day picnics. And when everybody can come as you are, and it's fun for the kids, and there's food, and it's like a big carnival.
Yeah.
I explained to people that I didn't build a charity, I'm building friendships.
Rickey, I want to end off by asking you, how is Adriano doing right now?
He's great. He's great. He's going
I
to
like
school.
seeing that smile on your face.
Yeah, he's doing great. You know what? He's a little boy. I love him. He's like all over the place, and he plays, and he goes to school. He loves school.
Hey, Rickey, thanks so much for your
Thank
time,
you.
and thanks so much for sharing your story with us.
Great. Thank you so much.
Hey BG Squad, thanks so much for checking out our channel, and listen to this, we have more great content for you, like this video right here and this video right here. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to this channel right now and tap that notification bell.